Hello and welcome to this event communications webinar, how to use Foleon for event communications. Of course, you're very curious. If you're already joining, you said ready to get started with this information and this webinar, you may be wondering, is this really worth my time? So what's the goal here? In a moment, I'll introduce our speaker of today, and we are going to share you everything that you need to know to leverage Foleon for event communications before, during, and after your webinar. We'll be sharing plenty of examples, so stay tuned. My name is Lopke Bijman-Ramesh. I'm the Customer Education Manager at Foleon, and you may have seen me in previous webinars. I'm going to keep my role very short, but I would like to announce Julia. Julia is a Senior Customer Success Manager. Thank you so much for taking your time to share all this wisdom. Could you shortly introduce yourself?
Sure, Lopke. Hi, everyone. As said, my name is Julia. I'm Senior Customer Success Manager at Foleon, and I'm responsible for ensuring customers achieve their business goals with our platform.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And maybe interesting for you all to know that Julia, together with another CSM who's Bjorn, brought this use case forward to me being in customer education. They say, Lopke, this is a golden use case that we think would be very valuable to let all of our customers know about. And that's how it got on our radar, and it did make it through the prioritization. And here we are. Final person that I'd like to introduce to you is Joran. He won't join us on camera, but he is the one in the chat. So let us know if you have any questions, if you have any comments. He will be there responding to you, receiving them, and passing them on to us if they can be discussed live on the webinar. So Joran is our product education specialist, and you know him from the Help Center. You probably read one or more of his amazing written articles. All right, quick housekeeping. We'll be done in about 50 to 60 minutes. The webinar will be available on demand within 30 minutes after the webinar. You will receive the link to be able to watch it again, share it with coworkers, or just finish watching it if you can't make it till the end. And we will have plenty of available time for Q&A. So let us know your questions either in the chat or in the question tab bar on the top right of your screen, and we will go through them live. Quick highlight, this is a surprise for the people that are joining us and are able to watch the webinar, is a free event doc check. So more about this later, but I just wanted to put it on your radar, and Julia will share more about it at the end. Okay, I think it's time to actually get started. Give the stage to Julia, and thank you, Julia. Go ahead.
Thank you, Lopke. I guess let's get started. And I believe, we're still questioning why we're all here today. And that's why I suggest to take a step back to 2019, before pandemic time. Many companies, I believe most of you, participated in various types of business events, such as trade shows, conferences, workshops, seminars, networking events, plenty of those. And the frequency of these events could range from a few per year for smaller organizations, or several per quarter, or sometimes per month for larger corporations. Obviously, Corona pandemic changed that landscape tremendously. Everything was moved online. And nowadays, we're left with a sweet, bitter mix of both. Live events are complemented with more frequent webinars or online campaigns. What does it mean for us? Actually, quite a lot, but the key thing is that actually the total amount of events goes up. Physical events are now followed with multiple online campaigns. There are multiple reasons for that, but actually, according to some data resources, the number of events doubled within the past year. So if we're comparing 2019 and 2020-22, imagine doubled. And one of the biggest challenge raised for many companies, how to make people choose your event among dozens of others. And basically among many factors, promotion and attendee engagement proved to be the key to success. both online and offline events, they require marketing and promotion efforts to attract all those attendees. And this is how actually the first Foleon event doc appeared. Our customer wanted to provide really immersive experience to their audience to keep their interest before, during, and after the event. And of course, customer also wanted to track the engagement on all these stages. And this is why we're here to share the best practices on this, because once it started with one customer, we see that it's actually spreading out, and we want you to benefit from this experience. Moving forward, we're sharing agenda today. As I mentioned, it would be about before, during, and after your event engagement with the attendees, and a short Q&A session in the end of the presentation. But before we start, I guess we have something to ask.
Thank you so much, Julia. Indeed, very interesting to hear a little bit of context about how events have changed over the years. And indeed, I would like to ask you all a question. A poll question has been opened, so take a moment to click what your answer is. The question is, does your organization run events? Could be any type of events, internal, external, could be online, it could be offline, you name it. Just let us know, do you run events? And the question could be yes, thinking about it, or no. I'll leave it open for a little bit longer, so it will be open behind the scenes. Julia, you can kick it off, but before you do, let me quickly show what I see, and that's 93% of the people online are running events, and only 7 are not running events. So that should give you a bit of an idea. Definitely majority are running events, and I believe that the content of this webinar is relevant for probably all types of events, all types of audiences, and also whether you are already using Foleon or not, correct?
Absolutely, and maybe those that haven't tried it yet may find some inspiration during our webinar, and who knows, maybe they try something for business case or for internal parties as well.
Great. Well, I'm very curious to see what you'll actually share with us. So could you...
In that case, let's get started and move forward with the topic. So as I mentioned, we are going to see how we're going to attract attendees before, during, and after the event. And let's start with before your event. How can you engage your audience at the planning stage of your event? Pretty good question, right? So you can try a great idea of event calendar. So event calendar serves as a centralized hub for all upcoming events, activities, and important days for your organization. And this makes it easy for your audience to actually access and find information they need without having to search through multiple sources. I believe all of you, or most of you, advertising events on different social media, different sources, and it could be sometimes complicated for audience to find, oh, I saw this event, where did I see it? If you have event calendar, you have everything accumulated in one place. A well-designed event calendar can create a sense of anticipation and excitement among your audience. And seeing a series of exciting events lined up can build this anticipation and encourage participation.
Just a quick interruption. This is very interesting. I'd love to hear you maybe share something about the event metrics. But before you go there, I just want to remind everyone to please, if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to participate while we're on air by using either the chat or the question field on the top right of your screen.
Great question, Lotte.
Go ahead.
The main metric in terms of event calendar would be interest in particular event. As event calendar accumulate all the upcoming events, you can track with Google Analytics all clicks through, and in the end, calculate which event was the most popular one. So it gives you an idea where which event need extra boost in advertising, or vice versa, which event, for example, need a bigger location in case it's a physical event. So the key metric here would be the click-through rate through the event. I hope I answered your question, and we can move forward. with some other things about the event calendar, which I find really interesting that customers shared with me. Calendars enable your audience to plan ahead and allocate time for events that interest them. So this increases the likelihood of participation, since people can prioritize your events in their schedules. And if they can't join the upcoming one, they at least see what's coming through. And this is giving you a competitive advantage, so people can actually book time ahead. Also, talking about engagement metrics, we're almost there. As I already mentioned, you can see which events are generating the most interest, how many people are RSVPing, and more. And obviously, this data helps you refine your strategy over time in terms of advertising, in terms of planning, everything. And last but not least, what I wanted to mention is that event calendar can be part of your larger content strategy. You can create content around the event, such as blog posts, videos, social media updates, you name it. And this obviously can further engage your audience and drive traffic to your calendar. And it's important to say that successful engagement with event calendar requires not only just implementation of it, but also thoughtful planning, regular updates, and creating creative marketing strategies. And by keeping your calendar fresh, informative, and also interactive, so you can bring people to different pages, give sneak peeks of what's coming through, that will give you an ability to effectively engage with your audience and create a really loyal following. So
this is great. That's a great first start, the event calendar. I do see we have a question about it coming in. So are you available for a question right now?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll show it on the screen. Thank you for asking this question. It is RSVP can be done through event calendar, or is it just providing information on the event?
It's all up to you. Again, the sky is the limit. Personal recommendation would be actually put RSVP on event page that I would be talking about in a few minutes, simply because event calendar could be a little bit packed. And if we will take a look into the example that I'm ready to share, we will understand why is it so.
Great. Well, thank you for asking your question. Stay tuned. And I believe, Julia, that is the next topic that you want to talk about, right?
Firstly, I wanted to share the event calendar of one of our customers.
All right, go ahead. I'm not seeing it yet. So if you could change maybe the tab that you're showing.
Just a moment.
And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and close the poll. Everyone, thank you for answering the poll question. And we actually saw a fluctuation because some people are also thinking about starting to host events. So I'll close that now. More polls are coming up shortly.
And what about event calendar? Is it available at the moment?
I don't see it yet, no. We'll just pause until you've reshared the right tab, but that is no problem. What I really liked about the event calendar is the centralized information, and that you can really just update it as you have more info available to your audience. And the good thing is that you can just republish, and it will be available to everyone with the same link. Great, Julia, we see it, so that's fantastic. I'm showing it right now to the audience.
So this is a great example from one of our customers' event calendar for the coming year. As you can see, they put all the coming events for the whole year, each month. So you can see some months are more packed, like March, some a little bit less, especially August, summertime, people are on holidays. But as you can see here, there is also a link that will move you to the main page of the event, normally located on the website, and there you will have RSVP. Because as you add quite some events in your event calendar, that would be actually quite hard to fill in the form. So it's nice to give an overview and provide some extra details with find out more links, but we won't recommend to overload these calendars with registration form just yet, because you will have a great opportunity for that a little bit later.
Thank you for showing this example, Julia. And let's then move on to the event page that you want to highlight and give us a lot of tips about.
Absolutely.
Great.
So talking about event pages, this is also a fantastic case. So we were talking about content around the event, right? And we can't miss such an important piece as event page, because it can play a significant role in engaging your audience before the actual event takes place. So first and foremost, interactive page provide great experience. Modern digital event page can offer interactive features like RSVP options, links to event speakers and sponsors, and integration with other tools like email, social media, chatbots, again, you name it. And this interactivity can actually enhance engagement and make it easier for your audience to take action, to ensure that, yeah, this is something that I want to attend. Also, such a digital page provides detailed information, and you are no longer limited with the space, as normally event pages on the website, they're sort of one page, right? Here, with digital event page, you can provide comprehensive details about the event, including date, time, location, some standard information, but also agenda, speakers, and any special activities. So you can share snippets of the event content itself, such as teaser videos, blog posts, brief summaries of presentation topics. Again, depending on your imagination, but you are no longer limited. And that drags a lot of interest from potential attendees. And it gives them a taste of what they'll learn and will make them more excited about to attend. Clear and concise information that always helps potential attendees understand what to expect and most likely register for the event. A few other things.
There you have the registration page in terms of where to give your RSVP. It could be right there.
Sorry, I think we just...
RSVP could be done on the event page, right? You just
Yes, absolutely.
Great, thanks.
What else can be done there is actually early bird offers and discounts. So let's say you offer special initiatives such as early bird registration with discounts or limited time offers. First of all, this encourages early signups and rewards those people who engage with the event page early on. And it's very easy with Foleon because you just need to republish the doc. Let's say 60 days prior the event, you start the early bird offer campaign. Then let's say it's finishing in 30 days, you withdraw the page, you republish the doc, and you don't need to share the new link. People will still have access to your Foleon interactive page. You will just republish it, and those who are late, sorry, you're too late for early bird offer, and those who managed, they're already there in your event. So very easy and actually nice things to have, and that obviously save a lot of time in case of promotion materials. And again, talking about registration and RSVP options, it makes it really easy for visitors to register or RSVP directly from the event page. You either can submit and use the Foleon form, so people can express interest in participating on your event, or you can forward them to your website where you have centralized registration. And basically, this is a direct streamline registration process. So depending on your internal strategy, but both options are possible. And as we were talking about, no limit in terms of spacing, you also can add frequently asked questions and contact information, because sometimes it's not enough space and you don't want to overwhelm people with information. But if you have such an interactive page, you just address common questions and concerns through a frequently asked questions section. And if people are not interested, they just skip it. If they are, you're already one step ahead. And you also can provide contact information for inquiries, showcasing, maybe someone wants to become a sponsor. So really nice to engage with your audience on such an important stage as before the event.
That is great. Thank you so much for sharing this. We're of course very curious to see some examples, like what have others done as event pages. While you maybe switch your tab, I just want to announce the poll question. I've already opened it and it's live right now. A lot of you have already answered, but the poll question is, are you currently using Foleon for event communications? Yes? Are you thinking about it? No? Or maybe it's not applicable? We'd love to know, so if you haven't voted, take a quick second to do so. And then we will be able to have a look at some examples, right?
Absolutely. Don't take my word for granted. We have customers who already implemented those ideas. So no need to reinvent a wheel. You can just add your own imagination on top of it.
Fantastic. And thank you everyone for answering the poll. Then I'll share your screen.
So here is a great example of Leaders Forum from one of our customers. They made a really nice, engaging, interactive page that they shared with potential attendees before the event. So I will guide you through. It really looks interactive. It provides a sneak peek so you can have a quick grasp what you're going to see on the next page. They apply their own customer branding on the Foleon Doc, sharing some important details. And in my personal sense, that was one of the most fantastic ideas that I saw in event pages so far. Get your event photos quickly and easily. So they implemented this structure with the AI tool. So follow the link below that they provide, set up an account, take a selfie, and let the facial recognition do its work. So it's really fantastic type of engagement with audience before and actually a little bit during the event, because this is networking. You see who is on the same event with you. You can find some ex or actual co-workers. You can find people from organizations that are interesting to you, and you can do the whole registration and setup before and share all the media during the event, and actually check that after all as well. So see, oh, my clients were there, my colleagues were there. I found that it's really cool use case. Also, obviously, important part of event page agenda. You are guiding your attendees through what they can expect with some more details, not to overwhelm them at the beginning, but if they want to know more about each particular session, they can check this out. Keynote speakers, important panels, and also what is great, you can always send your question to the following panelists. So if you have questions to a particular speaker, you get an opportunity to ask it before the event. So maybe it actually drags attention of potential attendee. Oh, I will be going to this session and my question might be answered. This is what I really like. And sign up for the event. Moving forward, again, brilliant execution to bring some special company announcement and add it to your event page before the event happens. So participants, especially those that are following the company news, can expect some big announcement and would be triggered by that to join the event. So you see something is coming on, please join. Few more things, again, extra panelists with questions, contact details. So you meet the team, you can click on any contact detail, you will receive their email address if you want to speak to this particular company representative, which is also great. And obviously, last but not least, some thanking, very important. You also can add sponsors upon here. So really fantastic example. Especially with photo use case and with announcement that I know from already a few customer cases work really, really well. And I will have one more example to share.
All right, this is great, very interesting, Julia.
Some questions in the meantime?
Not yet, no. And Joran is taking care of a few in the chat, so we're all good. While you share the next example, thank you everyone for answering the poll question. Just to share what the responses are, is that 19% is using Foleon already. So hopefully you'll get better, like new insights in order to leverage. 31% is thinking about it, 43% is not using it, and for just the smallest 7%, it's not applicable. So very interesting. Thank you for letting us know. And I'll momentarily close the poll and give the stage back to Julia, who has another example to share.
It's basically giving a stage to one of our customers, another brilliant example of event page to engage with potential attendees before. And here, what I like to pay everyone's attention here, they added button watch session. So once you're going through event agenda, you already have the grasp and the feeling that, oh, great, I can actually watch sessions afterwards. In the beginning, you might not add anything. Obviously, you don't have any recordings, but as you know, you easily can add all the recordings, republish the doc, and people will have access to this, and you can remind them with a short email. A bit different structure, but also worth taking a look at. Agenda, very clear in terms of timing, what to expect, the session, and the key speaker. So as you see, pretty interesting one, pretty full day customer had. Speakers, because obviously some attendees checking the event in terms of agenda and the topics that are discussed, some attendees paying a lot of attention to key speakers. And this is also worth indicating with LinkedIn pages or short notes from panelists. And sponsor page, which is absolutely important one if you have those. And frequently asked questions. As we talked about earlier, some people will skip it and that's totally fine. But sometimes people will have questions and it's really nice to have answers already there. So it will give a nice feeling that, oh, they already thought about it. Nice. Last but not least, call to action, tickets. So what's included in the ticket, what you're going to pay for it, and obviously active links. So here, again, up to you, what would be a strategy? You either redirect people on your website and you have a centralized checkout, or you already direct them on a checkout website. Depends on you, but we find it really important to place call to action in event page, to the page that is prior the event and would be following before you actually have it.
This has been amazing. Thank you so much. A lot of information, examples, insights of how to use Foleon prior to your event. Not too many questions have come in yet. Joran takes care of a few, but then if you have your question or want to have any, I know, maybe you have some doubts or something isn't fully clear, let us know. And Julia, in the meantime, I'd love to hear about using Foleon during your event.
That's actually a very special stage, because what else can I do? I already created calendar. I told everything about this event, speakers, times, everything, like
yeah,
all ads and possible information are already out. What can I do during the event? Actually, quite a lot.
All right. Bring it on.
It's a great opportunity to stay up to date with the program for your attendees. I would be completely transparent, maybe that most relevant for bigger events, not the one that we're having today, because we're having only one session, but for more complex events with multiple speakers and stages, that will work fantastic. Because during this phase, analytics part might not be the most interesting, because you will see people coming back to your doc, not the new visits, most likely returning visitors. However, the value you can bring to attendees will actually influence their experience really huge. And here I put a few why. Because first of all, event navigation. So you can ensure that the digital brochure, that the one that you already created, is easy to navigate with hyperlinks that take attendees directly to different sections or pages. And this makes it convenient for attendees to access the content they are interested in. And if you can see on the slide, there is a QR code here. That was a brilliant idea of one of our customers. They had a physical event where they put a QR code on a banner on some pages, and people just scanned the QR code and they were transferred to Foleon Doc with the event information. So they had access to all real-time updates. So if there are any changes or updates during the event, which always can happen, such as session times or room locations change, you ensure that the digital brochure is updated in real time and they can see it all just by scanning QR code. For example, even if you will scan this one, you will end up on our event page. It's really easy to generate. There are tons of free tools on the internet and you don't need to be tech savvy, because even I managed to do that. So yeah, pretty great trick. And why it's also important to bring audience back to your event page is because you might add Q&A and discussion panels in there. So you can integrate a section where attendees can submit questions to speakers or panelists directly through the brochure, like we saw in one of the examples, but they can do it in a real time in case you want to have a chatbot integrated, for example. And obviously this enhances engagement by allowing attendees to participate actively in discussion really live. What's also great, resource downloads, because you can provide closer to event. So you know that your event is tomorrow. You can attach downloadable resources such as presentation slides, handouts, and any additional reading materials that attendees can access directly from the brochure. It's very easy with Foleon. You create a button, download button, and attach any PDF you would like in there. And basically, while sitting on one of the lecture sessions, audience can come back to your doc and say, hey, this is what are the key ideas of the speaker. Fantastic. And last but not least, live streaming. So far, I saw it only once, but it was really fantastic to see. If there are any live sessions or webinars during event, you can provide embedded video streams directly within the brochure. So people that didn't manage, for example, to attend your event live, but still registered, they have a great opportunity to be there with you. So it's a seamless access to the sessions.
That's incredible. Thank you so much. And we actually did get a question about this one. So I'll show it on the screen. Douglas, thank you for asking this. He's asking, does Foleon have an app that can be used on the phone instead of having to scan a QR code to go to a website?
That's actually a very good question. I would say that I would rather take it offline. But I know that QR code works way more than, because we're working currently on an app version. However, I'm not sure whether that's actually two different things, because you can always stay in app. However,
you're thinking about maybe the app to create Foleon Docs and the app to read Foleon Docs. Am I understanding that, or?
As I understand, the app just to open it from your mobile phone. Correct me if I'm wrong.
The way I understand Douglas's question is that is if we have an app for readers of Foleon Docs to read Foleon Docs.
Well, you can easily open your Foleon Doc from mobile device, because all our Foleon Docs are adjustable to desktop, tablet, and mobile.
Yeah.
So you don't need an app for this. People will have a link and they would be forwarded this.
All right, that's a great answer. So Douglas, at the moment we don't. It would be a very interesting one, which I haven't heard about before. So let's have a quick check-in with product, but yeah, probably not this year.
But it's actually a great idea. But again, I won't actually fully replace QR code, because it's such a common practice these days with QR codes. You walk everywhere, you just put your camera, you're there. With app, you have to download it, you have to spend your gigabytes, megabytes. So don't know in terms of replacement, but great idea. Just to add.
Absolutely, and thank you for asking the question. Please keep doing that. And Julia, did you want to share an example as well about?
Of course. That's why we're here today, right?
Right. Yeah. The great thing about working with customer success managers is they have easy access to customers and can get approval of sharing Foleon Docs live, which is amazing.
Yeah, all thanks to our customers and their best practices. That's why we're all here today, because they had really great examples. And yeah, we had a really great case with Salesforce. They had their fantastic event in UK. And this is how they divided their event page. And they actually had a great experience with QR code. So they divided the page within the sessions. So you can check the timing and the topic of the session. In case you're more interested in some speakers and few details, you can click on it for more information. Not really extensive, but full. So anytime you are within the event, you can see, okay, which session can I join now, which stage it is, which theater it is. But also they have divided the event by stages. So let's say it's a huge event and you're already on theater 1 and you're like, okay, what's next? Who is the next speaker here? Maybe I just stay here and enjoy my time. Maybe you met someone to network with and you have mutual topics. Again, fantastic idea. You are still with your badge, with your QR code, and you can go through the event and decide on your own. And again, some information on the session is available for you here. Another great thing, sponsors. So a really nice page to have platinum, gold sponsors. Every company have its own setup, but really representative, and you also can share with sponsors some details later. I will mention that. And which is also a fantastic idea, you can create trail maps. So basically, this is how you guide your audience through the event the whole time. They can check the sessions, they can check the stages, but also if they just don't know what to do today, that happens sometimes. They already know, I want to go to Salesforce. This is the company, I'm following all the news, but I don't know how to set up my day. This is a great opportunity. So they gave a few ideas how to combine sessions that they would be logical in terms of topics, in terms of speakers, and in terms of time slots. So they provided a few of those, and then a button that links to external PDF. So you have a nice agenda to follow. No need to create or brainstorm anything, just follow. And that's basically it. And frequently asked questions, of course. Again, very useful page. In the end, actually, like I asked already a few customers about this. Is it a popular page in the end? I have to say around 40% visitors still visit that page, not dropping off. So seems like worth doing.
That's very interesting as well, that you can kind of like see the metrics of a specific page to know if it's been worth the investment or kind of like the time invested, right?
Absolutely.
Great. This is a lot of cool information and a very nice example indeed. It's great to see how each event doc is set up a little bit differently. So I think the message is definitely find what works for you, what works for your organization, for your event. There's no right or wrong. But we're just sharing a bunch of best practices that Julia and other customer success managers have seen around their customer base. So that's great. I think that was it about what to do during the event. Are you ready to move on to after the event?
Yes, as we already talked about metrics, that's the time basically. But before that, should we ask a few questions?
I think that's a great idea. Yes. The question is, basically, we're curious to know if you do analyze any data. So what data do you usually analyze after the event? Leads, subscribers, participant or engagement, speakers and topics, maybe all of the above. And maybe F is applicable to you and you're not really tracking much, but we'd love for you to let us know in the chat. So if you could just type in the chat, what is applicable to you? What data do you usually analyze after the event? We'd love to see it. And of course, this could be multiple options. So you could be, for example, saying A, C, D, just to give us an idea. Julia, what do you think?
Well, coming from commercial background, I definitely would analyze leads that are coming through that give me commercial interest. But now, especially when I'm on the customer success side and working closely to marketing, I would go for participants and their engagement. How many registrations in the end I got, how many people showed up for the event. So it's really interesting. And also the feedback that we get after all.
That's great. Yeah. So you would answer E, all of the above?
Definitely.
Yeah.
The more the better. The more data we have, the better for us to prepare for the next one, right?
All right. That's great. Well, thank you all for answering. I see some answers coming in. The majority so far E, so that's pretty cool to see. Justin says, as the song goes, ABC. Oh, great. Very insightful. And Kimberly says, C, and a short survey to measure satisfaction.
That's a great one.
C is participants and engagement. Great ones indeed. Yeah. It's so insightful to see everyone is kind of standing in a different place and the majority is measuring all of the above. But you know, if you're just starting out with events, I can imagine maybe all of the above isn't quite achievable yet with maybe tooling and people involved. So there's a growth path for everything.
Absolutely.
Nice. Thank you all for responding. Then Julia, you can kick it off and keep moving to the next slide.
No, then basically what can happen after the event? The pleasant aftertaste for both parties, for you as organizer and also for attendees. So can we see the screen, Luca? Just checking.
We see the slide, but not anything else.
Let me reshare just in case.
That's okay. Yeah, and I think what you wanted to show was the slide, the pleasant aftertaste for both parties. Is that correct?
Yes, that's the one.
All right.
So what can you get after the event? Obviously, you already had all your visitors who checked the page, who checked the calendar, scanned your QR code, and that's the time for data flowing through all the pipelines. So you can get a lot of valuable analytics, the number of visitors, the number of returning visitors to the page, so indicating that people are really interested in content. You can actually filter it with agenda, so you can see how many people return to the page during the event in a particular date. You can check how many people return to event page actually after the event to check the materials, to see the videos in case you attached or download any extra materials that you provided. You can track all the data in terms of clicks through, like how many people were interested in this particular speaker before the event started. So you could actually see before the event, for example, this speaker is so interesting for the audience, we'll allocate the bigger stage. After the event, you can also see that speaker was the top one. Maybe we should invite him or her again next time or have a short follow-up video. A lot of data. You can see which pages were visited the most with resources, with videos, with the tickets. You never know. And obviously you can see the bounce rate. You can see how many people visited the event page and how many people ended up going through the registration link. So it gives you a lot of data and everything in one Foleon Doc, which you can easily create, but moreover, you can get a nice insight for your sponsors. As I showed you a few pages where customer provides sponsor logos, you can easily make them clickable and send participants to your sponsor's website. And later after event, you can have a chat with the sponsor, thanking them for participation and also mentioning that actually your audience were very interested in their particular content as well. And that also encourages sponsor to collaboration for the next time. So this is a really pleasant so-called after days for organizers, but also for participants. They can get photos, they can get video recordings, digital materials they can download easy from the same resource that you actually shared with them from the beginning. So you are not overwhelming them with different links. Is it LinkedIn? Was it website? No, it's one doc that actually accumulate all the information and for you and for them. And one small pro tip, actually, follow up. As someone from audience already mentioned, it's nice to measure satisfaction rate. That's also could be an idea. To follow up with a Foleon Doc with some discount special offer in exchange for feedback, the same as early bird registration. You just add extra page to your already existing event doc, and that's it. People see, hey, get, depending on your strategy, for example, 10% discount on our next services. Please give us extensive feedback on your event experience. And that still proved to be a really working great campaign. And again, you just need to republish Foleon Doc. That's it. You don't need to do a lot of manual work. That saves a lot of your time. I don't know how many participants are here from marketing department, from sales department, but it's really like this.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing all the 3 stages of running an incredibly successful event. You got to think about before, during, and after. I just opened another poll question. So if you are behind your laptop or computer, please let us know, are you going to do something different for your event communications? Yes, I got some new ideas. No, I realize we're doing quite well. The third option is I'm going to start using Foleon Docs for events. Or the last one, Foleon for event communications is not for us. Let us know. And Julia, I'd love to maybe get a quick summary of like everything you shared. What are the highlights that you'd like us to stick, that you like kind of to stick with us?
I think for each guest today, there would be different highlights depending on company strategy, on the goals. But yeah, some personal findings while we were preparing for this webinar. It's definitely adding photo gallery for collaboration purposes, QR code to bring attendees back to your event page during the event to make sure they are following the agenda. They are not lost in a big physical event. They're just present, and they are present for you and not for the competitor. Call to action, registration or RSVP form in the doc. It's really nice to have. Also countdown timer. We didn't go through it, but I saw it from one of the customer example, just to create a nice sense of something coming soon. You can just easily embed a countdown timer in your Foleon Doc and say, hey, register now. It's just 1 day or 5 days left before the event, or you can do the same countdown timer for early bird discounts, up to you. Another good tip that we can provide is that you can use our Foleon templates for event pages. If you go on your Foleon account and you see black and white templates, you will find plenty of inspiration, and we actually have one tailored event template. Another tip that I think worth implementing, follow up with the same doc to remind that people can find all the resources, all the keynote speakers, videos and recordings in this doc, to keep interaction, ask for feedback, always worth doing because you want to know how satisfied attendees are. Obviously, you will see engagement metrics, but it's nice to hear from people, right? And maybe last but not least, don't limit yourself with business events. We were talking today a lot about these business networking webinars or physical events, but why not to use it internally? That's if you already have Foleon and you're, for example, already creating internal magazine, try Foleon Doc for internal events. If you have a summer barbecue or Christmas party, you can share this with your colleagues, nice interactive format. You can actually also gather some information via form like food restrictions, preferences. And again, not just talking here, I can share our own example.
This is amazing. So this is a bit of a bonus example. And while Julia switches her screen, let me just share the results of the poll. So thank you all for voting. We got 68% of the audience that has got some good new ideas. 9% realized that they were doing quite well. So that's fantastic news. And 23% is going to start using Foleon for events. That's fantastic. And Foleon for event communications is not for us. 0 answers. So great. Thank you all for answering that. And Julia, I'd love to see the internal event Foleon Doc from our internal people team.
Yeah, it should be there already, right?
Yes, we can see it.
Fantastic. So basically, that's just a part of it. The first one that we got, we had this big summer surprise party. Only people team knew about that. So what they did, they just shared a quick sneak peek. First round of info, as you see, surprise is killing me. And then they announced the theme of the party, the Roaring 20s. So you can already think of the costume and the date. On this file, that was it. Just not to share too much of corporate information, but later on in 2 weeks, we also got extra page on this Foleon Doc where we already received information about the location, more information about commuting and the dress code. And then the last one followed up with some personal requests if we had any. So as you see, you don't always have to use it for business purposes, but if you have Foleon account, why not to implement it already with your colleagues within your department or within the whole company already as well?
Thank you so much for sharing the recap in general, but also that final little insight into how Foleon is being used. Julia, thank you so much. And actually, I would like to share kind of like the big announcement of what you are able to get out of this webinar, and it's a free event doc check. So our professional services team is able to do more extensive doc reviews, and they have made their capacity available to do doc checks. So if you're just getting started or maybe already have one, reach out to your Foleon success coach or customer success manager to be able to get this. And if you are not 100% sure who your customer success manager or Foleon success coach is, reach out to support or maybe let us know right now so we can let you know. So pretty exciting. Julia, is there anything that maybe I left out that you think is important for everyone to know about?
No, to be honest, I think it's pretty clear. It's just our thanks for your participation. It's really great that most of you got some ideas to implement. So we really want you to encourage to use this use case within your Foleon account, within your Foleon best practices. So please try it out. Let us know once it's done or more or less done so we can check it together with our designers and publish your first or maybe not first Foleon event doc.
That's amazing. Yeah. And our digital designers, they work with Foleon day in and day out, and they are the best. You may have seen them in webinars as well, actually. So great opportunity. Get it, don't miss out on it. It's quite simple to get it if you are watching this webinar. Then I would like to let you know about our next webinar. So the next webinar is coming up at the end of September, September 26th. And this is our biggest webinar, the product update webinar. We host it every quarter, And we have a different product owner every time to share what has been released, what is coming up really soon, and also what else is kind of like on the radar and being worked on behind the scenes, just for you to be aware of what developments are out there, maybe what features are already available to you that you weren't aware of. So I think Joran will be sharing the link in the chat. You can sign up, and also we will include it in the follow-up emails. Then Julia, thank you so much for hosting this webinar, for presenting, for putting all your examples and knowledge in it for the audience. Thank you so much. It was incredible to have you live.
Thank you, and thanks to all participants for being here with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us online, for interacting with us via the chat, the question box, and responding to our poll questions. If you have another minute or two, please stick around, and in a moment you will be redirected to our survey. It's something we reflect on every webinar we host, and we really value the input we get there, and we listen to it as much as we can. So thank you so much for being online. Thank you for watching this webinar, and see you next time.